time. That was about the worst we got. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this. I'm going to go ahead and do a merge visible. So we're going to go down here to merge visible. And that's not going to do anything here. This is just going to leave this all the same. But these ones are going to be merged in this one file. Now, before I did that, what I could have done, and what I probably would do if I was going to be like bake this to a file with material IDs, is run a script. Oh, and you know what? When we did merge visible, you're going to realize that these tape pieces right here are all flipped. So that's good to know. But before I did that, if I didn't want to have to worry about like turning on dynamic for all of these things, there's one thing you can do. So if you go over here to your ZPlugin, I feel so slow without my tablet. So ZPlugin, not Quick Sketch, Clean Tool Master. You can go to the Pixologic Download Center and download these and install them. We've done that before in previous episodes. In fact, when I log out early today, I'm probably going to log out in about another 10 minutes. I'm going to go to Twitch and do my live stream highlights, which I've been slacking on, and put those up on YouTube, and that'll probably be one of them, is installation of Z plugins. But you're going to see in here we have dynamic subdivisions and subdivisions. So if I was going to bake this out, what I would do is I would hit delete. I'm not going to delete this one. Yeah, I'll delete this merged one. So we'll do this again. But if I want to have a dynamic version, like here's my dynamic version. By that, all I mean is I can like Alt tap this one and hit Shift D, and you're going to see it goes back to my real geometry, and then I can hit D again, and that's my dynamic geometry, just for a working file that's a little bit more usable. I can also click on these pieces of tape, and you're going to see when I go down here to my display properties, I can turn off double. You're going to be like, oh, they're flipped. I had no idea. So you're going to go ahead and flip those faces around. I also could have sworn, what is going on with my brain? Did I not duplicate this off and move down a copy? Am I crazy? Am I losing my mind? What is this one? This one's 23, this one's 22. Oh my gosh. All right, I need to get more sleep. Okay, so here's our working file for real. Okay, so we just talked about dynamic subdivision. So like this one, for instance, is a good one. I can do Shift D, and that goes back to this low level one, and this gives me a preview of it. So if I want to throw this in the KeyShot and start rendering, I can use this working file and throw it in the KeyShot and render it, and keep it dynamic and workable. I love working with dynamic subdivisions rather than real subdivisions. But if you wanted to, what you can do, I'm going to take this one, I'm going to copy this tool. That's going to copy all the subtools. I go to Simple Brush here, and then I will paste that tool. And now I've got a 23 and a 23 subtool. So these are just the copies. So I'm going to have this copy here, and I can run this script right here, which will be dynamic subdivisions to subdivisions all, ds all. And that's going to go through and convert all of my dynamic subdivisions to actual subdivisions. So when I go to my geometry tab, you're going to see, instead of this thing being, hitting D and Shift D to go out of dynamic subdivision mode, this now has 4 subdivisions. So now I can go all the way back down to 1 and all the way back up to 4. So now when I take this file, and let's say I was going to go bake with it, I can go over here to my subtool, merge visible, and now we've got a merge file. And then this one is, it's going to have the dynamic subdivision. Of course, we need to flip the tape. So that would be one thing to do. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. We'll go back here, and this is the one with our real subdivisions. I'm going to hit delete all. And then I'm going to go back to this file. I don't know what's going on today. And I'm going to take this tape, and I will flip it again. There we go. All right, I'm going to save this because I seem to be losing my mind. Okay, so having said all of that, what's the best way to get all of these subtools into the PickleRick file and maintain my dynamic subdivisions? I'm not sure if I have a good answer for that now that I'm looking at it. What I could possibly do is come up with a script, or even better yet, somebody else come up with a script so I can just use it, is to go, okay, I've got this file here. I'm going to go to the very top subtool, and I don't want to lose my dynamic subdivision, so what I could do is go to my PickleRick. I can go to Append, and I can grab this piece of the laser cannon here, and then I can go back to my laser cannon. I can go down one, go back to this one, go to Append, grab this piece, and I could do that 22 more times, and that would allow me to take all of my pieces and maintain my dynamic subdivisions. And the only reason I would think about doing that is because like this piece here has our Q grid turned on, this piece has Q grid, this piece has dynamic with certain subdivision levels that I dialed in to kind of get the fidelity that I'm looking for. So going back through and doing that manually, it's not a huge deal, but it could actually take more time than just doing this process. So I don't know. But you know what, since this is just for a demo and I'm just going to be done here in just a second anyways, we're going to do it this way. So we're going to keep this one. We're going to go ahead and go down here. And plus, this isn't even the final version of this file. I need to grab it from wherever I have that on my other computer, which I don't have with me. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to take this file here, and just for rendering purposes, we'll go ahead and do dynamic subdiv to subdivisions. And now we'll do a merge visible. And if we don't need this one anymore, we can just hit delete all. Go to pickle Rick, go to append. We'll go ahead and grab this laser cannon. And now at this point, we can, if we want to go ahead and scale this thing first, we can go ahead and hit X symmetry, and then we can go and like scale this down to whatever size he's supposed to be here. And we can keep a working file right in the middle of the file too. Let's go ahead and see about what size this should be. So I'm going to go in here to texture, import, reference, and if he's next to it, some of the sizes change pretty drastically. So if we grab this one, for instance, and then we go to, let's say this one, and then we're going to throw these in the spotlight. So we're going to also close this divider down. So, and the dividers are now double click on ZBrush 4 IP2. So if we go over here to texture and we grab this one and we go to plus sign here, and I'm going to shrink him down just a little bit, shove him up here in the corner, and we'll turn his opacity all the way up. So in this one, it fits pretty comfortably. This part fits pretty comfortably over his shoulder. If we go over here to texture and we grab this one, this one looks a little bit larger, so I think, you know, if we're going to be doing an action pose and not a pose of him working on it, we might kind of fudge this size down a little bit, although I guess that could be perspective, but it's got to fit on his shoulder basically. So, and it actually looks like we're pretty close. So let's go ahead and hit W, and temporarily I'm just going to move this up here and go, okay, that's about right. Let's move this to his other shoulder here. And if we wanted to scale this thing down so that the screws and stuff are just over his head, that was a 0.91. And also, I would probably fudge this to fit a little bit closer to his shoulder and not be that big. So let's say 0.91. So I'm going to undo that. Keep that in the middle, and then I can just do a about 0.91. And then we can also just move this down to the middle here. Although, before we do that, so we do have a piece masked here. It's not showing it to me. I'm going to go down here to the masking and turn on view mask, because apparently I didn't have my masks cleared. Now that's another thing you could do in this. You're going to see in here there is a clear mask all. Probably would have been a good thing to run in my clean tool master. Also, you're going to notice that like if you want to decrease your Z tool size, you can go ahead and like delete any morphs or delete any layers. If you want to clean them off, you can go through here. I like to do delete undos and just go through and delete a bunch of stuff off of all of your subtools here. This kind of cleans your file out. Another good way of cleaning your file out is to go ahead and do a merge and then do a split to parts, and that'll clean your files pretty good as well, but then you have to do a little bit of rework on the dynamic subdivs, which kind of be nice to store those actually now that I think about it. So we'll go ahead and move this. So yeah, we got this thing masked. I'm going to control drag to unmask, and now I can move this down, and now I can go ahead and just do like a 0.91. You could also use transpose master for this if you wanted to. And you could also, if you wanted to, remember you can do this whole like transpose all selected subtools. So you can control shift drag to clear that. And now you can, if you control shift drag over a number of pieces or control shift click, you can add and remove subtools from this. So now we can go through here and just kind of dictate which ones we want to move. So if we wanted to move all of these laser cannon pieces in my scene file and they were separate subtools, there's that a way to do that. So we'll do that in just a second as well. Okay, so we got that thing moved down and it's in the place. So now we're going to go over here to the split menu. If you do a group split, some of these polygroups, I want to keep my polygroups here, so I'm not going to mess with those. If I did a group split, it would split them into similar polygroups, which is what I don't want. There's split the parts, which is going to split every single part into its own subtool across the X symmetry or not. I'm going to do split to similar parts, so it'll go ahead and keep like my screws in one subtool and my lenses in one subtool. It may not be perfect, but it'll give me a good start. So now I've got those selected. If I Alt tap this one, for example, for some reason these must have like the same vert order, so it kept them all the same. So I can go ahead and just manually like maybe split these off. So we'll go ahead and split hidden on this one, and then we'll go down one, and then we'll go ahead and split. And this is also under the split menu. So again, requires a little bit of cleanup work, but that's basically split similar. So all my tape pieces that are the same vert count are the same subtool. If I want to, I can just go ahead and merge these ones down. That's under your merge menu into the same one here. So I'll just kind of take a once over and kind of put these things back into place. Everything else looks fine, I think. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now we got that split back out. Now again, if I did want to move this laser cannon, which is now full of a bunch of different subtools here, it would just be a matter of hitting W, going into our move, this, what is it, move, transpose all selected, hold down Control Shift, grab all these pieces, and then hold down Control Shift Alt, and then get rid of these pieces here. So we basically just removed these pieces and added the laser cannon pieces, and now I can just move all of those subtools at once, like so. Before I step out of this, if you step out of it, it'll go back to non-hatched mode. This is new to P4, P2 as well. I can hold down Control Shift and drag, and that'll go ahead and get rid of all the selection, then turn that off. Just work a little bit cleaner. So we've got that. Let's go ahead. What do I want to do?